They really have just dominated Cleveland in these 2 games at Madison Square Garden. Cleveland's going to have to search for some answers because if they don't win 3 in a row, their season is over. And oh, by the way, if you care, when you're up 3-1, quote Anchorman, 95% of the time it works every time. That's right, up 3-1, you win the series 95% of the time. Let's get our guy in. Bill Reiter jumps in. I'm Eric Casillas. Bill, of course, CBS Sports senior NBA writer. Is this just as simple as Cleveland's guys didn't play like great NBA players? I mean, Darius Garland was terrible in the first half and then made the box score look good in the second half. And if you look at what Donovan Mitchell, his first buckets in the second half were with 2 minutes to go in the game. I mean, they're just getting the better players on the Knicks are playing better than the guys on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is it that simple?
Well, EK, let me compose myself because you cracked me up coming in with the Anchorman reference. The Cavs were awful offensively, but I'm gonna give the Knicks a whole bunch of credit. This is a Tom Thibodeau team. You'd expect defense. They were in the bottom third defensively over the course of the regular season. Paradoxically, it was their offense that carried them. Their defense wasn't very good. But whatever Tibbs does, whatever that magic is that gets guys to play D, he's found that switch in the postseason. So yes, Darius Garland was awful in the first half, great in the second half. Donovan Mitchell utterly and completely disappeared in the ways that mattered in this game, especially in the second half. We talked at halftime, for me at least, he needed to step up. So this is a Cleveland team that couldn't handle the moment, but I'm going to give the Knicks a whole bunch of credit in making their life absolutely miserable, and that being a big part of the reason because of New York's defense.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, but I look and say stars got to play like stars. And the Cleveland Stars have not played like stars. But as you say, the Knicks Stars have. And the Knicks defense, part of the reason why they haven't been able to play like stars. Speaking of the Knicks Stars, this seemed like a different Knicks team today. I didn't see a lot of Julius Randle in big moments. He's sitting there with whose team is this now, Bill? Was this just sort of a game script kind of thing? Or is this now Brunson and Barrett and Josh Hart and less about Julius Randle?
Man, yeah, wasn't Barrett awesome? He was awesome offensively. He was crashing the boards. He was playing defense. Look, I think it is Jalen Brunson's team just in the sense over the course of this playoffs, they're going to have Brunson play. You just said it. Stars got to play like stars. And I know it's one game, but based on this game, which was not an elimination game, but it feels like it puts a dagger through Cleveland's season, EK. Brunson was a star. Nobody on Cleveland was. And there were role players around Jalen Brunson. You mentioned Josh Hart. He was really good at some big shots. Also excellent defensively. Barrett was really good. This is a really good Knicks team. Jalen Brunson, for me, was the star that was on the floor. It is Jalen Brunson's team. The Mavs never should have let him go. Idiots like me who didn't understand that move by the Knicks were wrong. And this New York team is markedly better because Jalen Brunson, I think, is a lot better than a lot of folks, including some GMs around the NBA, understood, even with how well he played last year in Dallas.
You mentioned Josh Hart again. I talked about him. That kid's a force multiplier. I mean, whatever he's doing, he just shows up in a lot of ways. It's like he's the tide that's lifting a lot of their boats. And I know Brunson's great. He had the 29. R.J. Barrett, big shots. And a career playoff. Despite the fact he was 0 for 6 from 3, it could have actually been a lot better. But it seemed like every time Hart was on the floor, Cleveland was just going to get denied somehow, some way. He played great defense. He moved the ball. He made shots. He's just one of those guys. I don't like to say he's a winner because that really isn't that doesn't mean anything. But he is a force multiplier where when he's on the floor, it seems like everybody is able to do what they do best and do it better. So let's spin it forward. Is this thing over? I mean, let me make the case and see if I can convince you if I were going to make the case for Cleveland. I have Game 5 in my building. Last time we were in my building, I beat the Knicks up pretty good. I can get the Game 5 win. And then we go back to Madison Square Garden. And this idea that Madison Square Garden is this really hard place to play, yeah, we didn't look good in 3 and 4, but historically and in the last few years, teams have been just fine walking in there and beating them in big spots despite what we think the crowd is. And our guys will never play that poorly 3 games in a row in the same barn. So we got a shot in Game 6. And by the way, if it gets close in Game 6, all the pressure's going to be on them, and then it would be Game 7 back in our barn. Did I convince you at all that this is still a series?
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy it. I've been to enough of these things, including the 2016 NBA Finals, where we wrote series off at 3-1, and they weren't over. On paper, this Cleveland team is much more balanced than the Knicks, and you're right. I'm with you. I don't think guys are as intimidated by MSG as people think. If you're remarkably religious and or love art or both, you're not going to be freaked out when you go to the Sistine Chapel. You're going to feel inspired. You talk to any NBA player who's an actual star or thinks they are, they want to play there. It is the cathedral of basketball. Steph Curry had his first 60-point game there for a reason. We know what Jordan did back in the day. I mean, even Jeremy Lin pretended to be an actual NBA star. He played for the Knicks during that little run. So that is certainly a place that can bring out the best in guys on either side of the Knicks or visitors dividing line. Look, there's an absolute chance that they can do it. I really like Cleveland in the series. I guess the real hesitation isn't even the 3-1 for me, EK. It's just the fact that this Cleveland team has looked shook. Darius Garland in the first half, Donovan Mitchell over the course of the game. You've got to believe in yourself and have the mental toughness to at least battle in these moments. They didn't do that, not for long stretches of this basketball game. So nothing's over until it's over, and we've seen that in the NBA. But man, the Knicks certainly look like a markedly better team than Cleveland.
All right, if I said to you right now, you get a free trip to the Sistine Chapel if you get it right. There's only 4 options left. Knicks in 5, Knicks in 6, Knicks in 7, or Cleveland in 7. Which one of those 4 would you take if you had the first pick in a draft?
Let me be inspired by the 8-day bachelor party I once went to and just throw really good money after bad and just believe in Cleveland a little bit more. I'll go Knicks in 6, even though it feels wrong right now, because I got to think the Cavaliers team I believed in is in there somewhere.
All right, yeah, Knicks in 6 feels about right now. I think maybe Cleveland will get the home game, and then the Knicks will go back to their barn and hope if you're a Knicks fan, you're thinking that's going to be one heck of a party if they can get it done.